Welcome to Silicon Valley Super Schools. Presenting Math with Cricket. Hello and welcome to Math with Cricket. The video teaches you math concepts using cricket scenarios. Today we're going to learn about average, percentage and fractions. These are important concepts that help us compare and analyze data in different situations. Let's start with average. What is an average? An average is a measure of the central tendency of a set of numbers. It tells us what is the typical or common value in the set. There are different types of averages, such as mean, median, and mode. Let's look at each one of them. The mean is the most common type of average. It is calculated by adding up all the numbers in the set and dividing by how many numbers there are. For example, suppose we have the scores of 5 batsmen in a cricket match: 25, 35, 45, 55, and 65 runs. To find the mean score, we add them up and divide by 5. Mean equals 25 plus 35 plus 45 plus 55 plus 65 divide into 5. It equals 45. So the mean score of the batsman is 45 runs. This means that if we distribute the total runs equally among the 5 batsmen, each one would get 45 runs. The median is another type of average. It is the middle value in a set of numbers when they are arranged in order from least to greatest. If there are an odd number of numbers in the set, the median is the one in the middle. If there are an even number of numbers in the set, the median is the mean of the two middle numbers. For example, suppose we have the scores of 6 bowlers in a cricket match: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 wickets. To find the median score, we arrange them in order and find the middle value: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Since there are 6 numbers in the set, we take the mean of the two middle numbers, 4 and 5. Median equals 4 plus 5, divide by 2 is equals 4.5. So the median score of the bowlers is 4.5 wickets. This means that half of the bowlers took more than 4.5 wickets and half took less than 4.5 wickets. The mode is another type of average. It is the most frequent or common value in a set of numbers. There can be more than one mode or no mode at all in a set of numbers. For example, suppose we have the scores of 7 fielders in a cricket match: 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3 and 3 catches. To find the mode score, we look for the most frequent value in the set: 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. We can see that 1, 2 and 3 are all repeated twice in the set, so they are all modes. This means that there are 3 modes in this set of numbers. So we have learned that the mean, the median and the mode are different types of averages that can be used to describe a set of numbers. Each one of them has its advantages and disadvantages depending on the situation and the data. For example, the mean is sensitive to outliers or extreme values that can affect the overall result. The median is more resistant to outliers and gives a better picture of the typical value in a skewed distribution. The mode is useful when we want to know the most popular or common choice in a set of data. Now let's move on to percentage. What is a percentage? A percentage is a way of expressing a part of a whole as a fraction of 100. It is often denoted by the symbol %. For example, we say that 50% of the balls in an over are dot balls. It means that out of 100 balls, 50 balls are dot balls. We can also write this as a fraction, 50 over 100, or as a decimal, 0.5. To convert a fraction to a percentage, we multiply the fraction by 100 and add the percent symbol. For example, suppose we have the fraction 3 over 4. To convert it to a percentage, we multiply it by 100 and add the percent symbol. 3 over 4 times 100 is equal to 75. So 3 over 4 is equivalent to 75%. This means that out of 100 parts, 75 parts are taken. To convert a percentage to a fraction, we divide the percentage by 100 and remove the percent symbol. For example, suppose we have the percentage 20%. To convert it to a fraction, we divide it by 100 and remove the percent symbol. 20% divide 100 is equal to 0.2. So 20% is equivalent to 0.2. We can also write this as a fraction, 2 over 10, or simplify it to 1 over 5. To convert a decimal to a percentage, we multiply the decimal by 100 and add the percent symbol. For example, suppose we have the decimal 0.6. To convert it to a percentage, we multiply it by 100 and add the percent symbol. 0.6 times 100 is equal to 60. So 0.6 is equivalent to 60%. This means that out of 100 parts, 60 parts are taken. So we have learned that percentages are fractions of 100 that can be written as fractions or decimals. Percentages are useful when we want to compare parts of different wholes or express proportions or ratios. For example, in cricket, we often use percentages to compare the strike rates of batsmen, the economy rates of bowlers, the win-loss ratios of teams, and so on. Now let's move on to fractions. What are fractions? Fractions are numbers that represent parts of a whole or a ratio of two quantities. Fractions are written as two numbers separated by a horizontal line or a slash. The number above the line or slash is called the numerator, and the number below the line or slash is called the denominator. For example, in the fraction 3/4, 3 is the numerator and 4 is the denominator. Fractions can be classified into different types depending on the relationship between the numerator and the denominator. Some of the common types of fractions are proper fractions. Fractions where the numerator is less than the denominator. For example, 3/4, 5/6, and 7/8 are proper fractions. Proper fractions represent parts of a whole that are less than 1. Improper fractions. Fractions where the numerator is greater than or equal to the denominator. For example, 4/3, 7/6, and 8/7 are improper fractions. Improper fractions represent parts of a whole that are greater than or equal to 1. Mixed numbers, numbers that consist of a whole number and a proper fraction. For example, 2 and 1/2, 3 and 3/4, 4 and 1/8 are mixed numbers. Mixed numbers represent parts of a whole that are more than 1 but less than 2. Equivalent fractions. Fractions that have the same value but different numerators and denominators. For example, 1/2, 2/4, and 3/6 are equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions represent the same part of a whole but in different ways. Simplified fractions. Fractions that have no common factors between the numerator and the denominator other than 1. For example, 2/5, 3/7, and 5/11 are simplified fractions. Simplified fractions represent the simplest form of a fraction. Fractions can be added, subtracted, multiplied, and divided using some rules and methods. For example, to add or subtract fractions with the same denominator, we add or subtract the numerators and keep the denominator the same. To add or subtract fractions with different denominators, we find a common denominator by multiplying the denominators and then adjust the numerators accordingly. To multiply fractions, we multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. To divide fractions, we flip the second fraction and multiply it by the first fraction. Let's see some examples of how to use fractions in cricket scenarios. Suppose a batsman scored 75 runs out of 100 balls. We can write this as a fraction, 75/100. We can simplify this fraction by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by 25. 75/100 equals 75/25, divide 100/25 equals 3/4. So, 75 divided by 100 is equal to 3/4. So the batsman scored 3 to 4 of the total balls he faced. Suppose a bowler took 3 wickets out of 10 overs. We can write this as a fraction, 3/10. We can convert this fraction to a percentage by multiplying it by 100 and adding the percent symbol. 3/10 times 100 is equal to 30%. So the bowler took 30% of the total overs he bowled. So we have learned that fractions are numbers that represent parts of a whole or ratios of two quantities. Fractions can be written as percentages or mixed numbers and can be simplified or made equivalent. Fractions can also be added, subtracted, multiplied, and divided using some rules and methods. This concludes our first video on math with cricket. I hope you enjoyed learning about average, percentage, and fractions using cricket scenarios. In our next video, we will see some questions and answers. Stay tuned with Silicon Valley Super Schools for more videos. Thank you for watching and have a great day.